Yes. And Bhagavad Gita was a conversation which comes in Mahabharat in the Yuddha Parva. And this is a discussion between Lord Shri Krishna himself and Arjuna. And this comprises of 700 verses. And like we approach different schools, different universities, we also have to approach Bhagavad Gita in the spirit of a student, the spirit of learning. And what is the means for understanding it? There are three ways of gaining knowledge. This Pratyaksha Praman, direct sense perception. We have eyes, we have ears, we have nose, we have tongue, we have skin. So we approach Bhagavad Gita with our intelligence, but that intelligence can be by direct sense perception. It can be by Anuman Praman, that is a theory of hypothesis, trying to speculate what is there in the box, black box. If we are going to a room, then we are hearing different noises, so we can conclude whether a movie is going on or somebody is practicing, doing a rehearsal for a drama, or really some fight is happening between family members, husband, wife, father, son, different thoughts. The last thing we saw, as we go to university, we have professors, we have authorized books, and we have teacher, we have professor, and then we students are there. We have experiments, we have practicals, we have theory classes. Similarly, Shabda Praman has a Vedic manuals, has the textbooks. Then there are acharyas, Guru Shishya Parampara is there. There are Rajarshi Sampradaya, there is Brahma Rishi Sampradaya, and we saw four sampradayas in the next session. Can Vedas can give ultimate solution for the problems of our life? So everyone is searching for happiness, and the happiness we are trying to search is through four ways. That is by eating, then by sleeping, then by enjoying, and then by defending. Even animals do that. And therefore, what is the specialty of humans? Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha saman yetat pashubir naranam dharmo hiteshu adhiko vishesha dharme nahina pashubi samana. So what makes us special is when we inquire about four things: absolute inquiry about the goal of life, the bliss which we can acquire in the human form of life, then the choices we can make between birth and death, and the determination to do the first A, ability to inquire about God, then bliss which we can inquire, we can acquire by that inquiry, and the choices to achieve that. So we have determination. So once Srila Prabhupada was giving us lecture in one of the university in America, and then one person got up and started asking, so to follow the strict disciplines, to follow these rules and regulations, somehow we don't get the determination to follow it. And Prabhupada replied, as humans, we have the innate determination which we can actually slowly we can spark it. Like there's a small fire spark. If it falls on the dry grass, you just fan it, then the whole grass catches fire. But if the spark falls on the ground, then it becomes difficult. It stays for some seconds and then it gets exhausted. If the spark falls inside the water, then what happens is it gets extinguished immediately. So similarly, coming across a bona fide sampradaya, university of Guru Sishya Sampradaya can be compared to the spark of fire falling on the dry grass. And as soon as when you start hearing from Bhagavad Gita and from Bhagavatam and different Vedic literature, the knowledge, the bona fide knowledge is coming from time immemorial. So it's like, fanning the spark. And later on, when you keep on practicing a sadhana process, which is called as yoga, there is karma yoga, there is jnana yoga, there is ashtanga yoga, then there is bhakti yoga. There are different steps of processes, gyan yoga. So then, according to that, by following a particular practice, we can actually invoke that relationship which we have forgotten with God, and that process is called as yoga for the particular age. So we are going to see it today. And later on in the fourth session, uh, in the third session, we concluded that like there is a cage and there's a parrot inside the cage, and the modern man or the materialistic person who's involved in materialistic lifestyle, he's been bothered with only polishing the cage, but he has forgotten to feed the parrot. Therefore, the parrot is starving. And therefore, what we should do, we should try to feed the parrot also. So parrot can be compared to the soul, the cage can be compared to the body. So the present civilization, especially the modern civilization, people are much more concerned with the body, the glamour around it, the show off and other things. People hardly ask question about the real person inside. So for that, we saw the fourth session, that is science of soul. Does soul exist? We had 5 reasons. Common sense, yes. When somebody dies, we say he's passed away. Second proof was intuitive understanding. When you speak about this body, about things belonging to us, we tell it is mine. But when it comes to the body also, we tell it is mine. But when it comes to myself, I call it as I. That means there is something apart from this body, which when I'm speaking, it's not this body which is speaking, but there is something inside the body which is trying to speak. मेरे शरीर के अंदर कुछ है जो इस शरीर का मालिक है, तो वो बात कर रहा है. So that चेतना is called as atma according to Bhagavad Gita. So then we saw that is intuitive understanding. Third proof was uh, out of body experiences and near death experiences documented by different doctors, uh, starting with Dr. Bigelow and soul surgeon. So different articles are there, so we saw from it. And the fourth proof was consciousness. When I'm speaking, all of you are able to hear it, you are processing, you are trying to think, you are understanding the intention, and you are understanding what to make out of it, what we should conclude out of it. This is called intention. And therefore this brings us to a second realm called as body is gross, the gross body, which is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then beyond this gross body is subtle body, that is intelligence, ego, and then mind, man, buddhi, ankar. And we had a nice discussion 2 weeks back. If body is dead, body is dull matter, it is not having consciousness. So anyway, when something is done to this body, so anyway, there's not, the pain is there. Although body is not having consciousness, but where the pain is coming from. And if the soul is eternal, the third body, spiritual body, made up of Sat Chit Ananda, it is eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. If the soul is eternal, then why there is pain? So why we are perceiving pain in this world, in the world of matter? And when you go and strike a bang on a desk, it never cries. But when you go and bang on somebody's slap, immediately the person starts crying, or he will have a reflex action by another slap. So then we saw that the owner of a car, when he purchases a BMW car and he parks it in front of a stadium, and suddenly a cork ball comes and shatters his windshield. So he has gone to purchase something to buy, to take it to home. So immediately it shatters not his windshield, but his hearts get shattered because of, since many years he thought I'll get a job and I'll save one lakh per month or per 6 months or per year, and then try to get this car, and a lot of investment is there, a lot of consciousness is there. He identifies it with it. It's like extended body. Like somebody is very dear to us, especially somebody is a mother or a father, more than father, somebody is a mother. When the child is in a womb, and when child comes out after 9 months, anything related to child, a socks or his toy or his books, or he has grown up now, the childhood clothes, anything we see related to him, we immediately identify with that. So although the sun may not be very close to you, but when you go to the cupboard and when you open the cupboard, and when we see some of the memories of childhood, when we see the cloth which you gifted him on the first day, the toy which you gifted him on the third birthday, and sometimes he has been being very mischievous and naughty, and you might have given him thoroughly, and all those memories, when it comes to our mind, we immediately relate to it. Although the son may be not very close to us, or any near and dear one, it might be with the husband and wife, or lover and beloved. So all these emotions are involved. So it's not the physical presence of a person. Similarly, where it is stored in subtle body. So the brain is getting wired in a particular way, and that is what we saw. So basically the soul is eternal, the body is gross. जो स्थूल शरीर है वो हमेशा के लिए रहता है, और लेकिन जो आत्मा है वो हमेशा अनंत रहता है, सत्य रहता है. तो कौन, who suffers? So the body, the soul misidentifying with the body is what suffers pain and pleasure. That is what we concluded in the fourth and fifth session. In practical benefits of the knowledge of soul is that we can understand the process of sadhana, we can understand meditation process, we can have proactive positive attitude towards life, we can see universal brotherhood, because we can see if soul is there, then where soul is coming from? That means soul is coming from God. And if God, where God exists, so God has his own abode. A soul is spiritual, everything here is material, therefore there has to be spiritual world. Therefore we refer to Purushottam Yoga of 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where it is told Urdhva Moolam, Adashakam. So therefore we saw the analogy of Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, upside down banyan tree, where the tree is on, the real tree is the spiritual world, the reflection of that is the material realm. And then we discussed the relationship in the material realm are temporary because soul is eternal, but the body is temporary. So at some point of time when we go and train, the journey ends at a particular time. एक जगह पे कोई उतर जाता है, मुंबई से कोई जा रहा है दिल्ली, so at somebody gets down in Nasik, someone gets down in Itawa, Itarasi, and someone gets down in Gwalior, somebody gets in Mathura, someone gets in Nizamuddin, and later on he goes ahead. So similarly, according to one's lifespan, according to one's ticket, people stay for some time and they leave. That is how family life is. We come for some time, stay together, we have experience later on, but everybody has to fly his own aircraft. So one is spouse centered, one is enemy centered, one is I centered. So we saw different centers, but the soul is eternal and God is eternal. The relationship between them is eternal. So till the time we don't bring God into center of our life, we have to keep on encircling the cycle of birth and death, punarapi janani, punarapi manani. And therefore, then we came to the point of existence of the spiritual world, the nature of the spiritual world, Bhagavan feature. Bhagavan means Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Virasya Yashasa Shriya Dhyana Vairagyashchaiva Satyam Iti Bhatingana. The Lord is a reservoir of qualities which we want in a best friend. A best friend has to be beautiful, he has to be wealthy, he has to understand our emotions, he should give up his ego, he should be renounced, he should be knowledgeable, and he should be famous. And then we saw that all these qualities can exist in full in Bhagavan. So, so today I'll start from where we left, and that Bhagavan has 6 qualities in full, and we saw different sections of Bhagavatam, because Bhagavata can just speak a shloka. If you want to understand, if you really want to be a sincere student and want to really know the science of God, so I'll share some more details to you, because we are coming to the culmination of the basics of Bhagavad Gita's session. And then further, next what? If you are really interested to know more something about it, Bhagavad Gita, what we are saying is we have just seen 5 principles of Bhagavad Gita. That is the Ishvaraha, then there is the Atma, that is Jiva, then we saw Prakriti in the last session, Saturday, then we saw Kala, and then we saw Karma. Why do bad things happen to good people? So where all these things are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned in from 1st chapter to 18th chapter. But the most important theme of Bhagavad has been mentioned in the 7th chapter to 12th chapter, the Bhakti Yoga. And what we should do, that is mentioned in Purushottam Yoga, the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And finally, Lord Shri Krishna tells Sarvadharman Parityajya. So Bhagavad Gita is like a degree course. It's like when you complete our 12th standard or +1, +2, then we go for a specialization called as a degree. So similarly, when we come into this world, when we take birth as humans, the basic knowledge is that you're not the body or spirit soul. That is basic fundamental knowledge. Once we understand and beyond, this life is not in all in all. Beyond this life, next life exists. This body is not in all in all. Beyond this body, soul exists. This world is not all in all. Beyond this world, spiritual realm exists. And we are not all in all. Beyond us, God exists. If we understand this concept, then we become eligible for exploring Bhagavad Gita chapter by chapter, verse by verse, theme by theme, and what Krishna is revealing the wisdom gem of Bhagavad Gita from 1st to 18th chapter. But Bhagavad Gita just speaks about these 5 themes and its connection, and it ends with finally there is Karma Yoga, there is Jnana Yoga, there is Dhyana Yoga, there is Ashtanga Yoga, and there is Bhakti Yoga. Lord Shri Krishna says Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. He says surrender, sarvadharma parityajya, and be fearless. I will take care of all of your karma. And therefore he gives that call. And where Bhagavad Gita ends with this call, yeah, just surrender to me. Srimad Bhagavatam, it's called as post-graduation. If somebody is doing a degree, then after degree, this is post-graduation. If somebody is doing MBBS, then there's a MD or MS. If somebody is doing BTech, then after that, there is MTech. So Bhagavatam speaks about the post-graduation. How these principles of Bhagavad Gita have been applied in day-to-day life by the devotees, by the practitioners, that Bhagavatam speaks about. And Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, 12 skandha. almost it has almost like 16,000 verses, 18,000 verses. So different themes, those practitioners, how they have applied, especially devotees, bhaktas, how they have applied the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in their life, despite trials, tribulations like Pandavas. I gave the example of Pandavas in the fifth session. Despite Jayato Pandu Putranam Yaksham Paksha Janardana, Pandavas were very glorious because Krishna was on their side. Therefore, Mahabharat, Bhagavad Gita ends with Arjuna ready to fight. Bhagavatam starts with Arjuna has fought, everybody is destroyed, and the evil part is destroyed, and the virtues have won it. And Bhishma Pitama is on the bed of arrow. Ashwatthama, who is just remaining, Duryodhana is completely broken down, and he's just surviving for life here. And then Ashwatthama is on his side. He gives vow to Duryodhana that I'll surely kill Pandavas and bring their cut heads and give to you. So Bhagavatam starts with this prelude about Pandavas and how Krishna interferes there, and how he protects the Pandavas, and how he protects the Uttara's son Parikshit, and it continues with Parikshit Maharaj's history. And then again, it goes with the creation of the universe systematically. If you want to know how this universe is created, how this material world came from the spiritual world, which are the different factors, all those things are mentioned in the second canto of Bhagavatam. Third canto speaks about the different lineages. When Brahma created, how we created different Narad Muni, how we created different lineage in this whole universe. We have, when we go to any place, they ask Gotra, what is the origin of the Gotra? So there was Asuti, there was Prasuti, then there is Devahuti, then there is Uttanapad, Priyavrat and Uttanapad. The fourth canto speaks about Priyavrat's generation. The fifth canto speaks about Uttanapad generation. Sixth, seventh, eighth canto speaks about Asuti, Devahuti, Prasuti generation. Then the ninth canto speaks about Lord Ram's pastimes. The 10th canto, the Surya Vanshas will discuss in the 9th canto. The 10th canto speaks about Yadu Vamsha, the lineage of the moon. And then 11th canto speaks about the conclusion, like how Purushottam is mentioned. Similarly, Jnana knowledge is same knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned again in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The 12th canto speaks about, because Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj at the beginning of Kali Yuga. So how Kali Yuga people of this age, present age, can utilize this knowledge of Bhagavatam. So it speaks about that. And it ends with Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas Satam Namami Harim Param. That Param, which is started in the first shloka of Bhagavatam, Satyam Param Dhimai, that Satya is nothing but Hari. It ends with that. And therefore, this is a post-graduation and a PhD understanding. So if somebody is interested, we can continue with the whole program. We will go Gita verse by verse, chapter by chapter, with the flow charts and different workshops. There is something, a course called Gita Application Made Easy. There is a topic called as reincarnation in that. There are different topics, practical topics of evolving towards perfection, how we can pursue, how we are advancing in Krishna consciousness in our day-to-day life, that is being discussed. For time being, the topic for today, which I'm going to take, is very, very simple. Till now, if you understood Ishvara, and then if you understood Jiva, then if you understood Kala, Karma, Prakriti, then how this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is, how we can apply this into our day-to-day life. So practical application of Bhagavad Gita in our daily life. So in the last session, we saw why good things happen to bad people. Activity doesn't make sense. The sanction of the superior government makes sense. I gave the example, Arjuna was fighting and Duryodhana was fighting. For Duryodhana, destination was very hellish, but for Arjuna, it was divine. Why? Because he was on the side of Dharma and Duryodhana on the side of Adharma. Or his activities are sanctioned by the Lord, and activities of Duryodhana was against the sanction of the Lord, the Sura and Asura. So fighting activity can bring us reward if it is done under the government of India. He gets a Paramvir Chakra. But the same soldier comes back to his hometown, and just because of the trigger, because of seeing so many of his soldier mates dying, and if he hears a firecracker, if he gets triggered and starts taking gun and starts shooting around in Diwali, all small children and everybody gathered for some function, then the same government will put him in bars. So similarly, activity matters, intention matters. So when our activity is sanctioned by the Vedic literature or by Lord, So therefore, our activity will not fetch any good result, neither will it will fetch bad result. Then it is called akarma. There are three types of activities: karma, good result to get success in your life. There is vikarma. There are activities which we tell that okay, kao piyo maja karo, doesn't matter, who is seeing, who is not seeing, somehow hook or crook, stamp on somebody and get success. That is called as vikarma. And then there is akarma. You have been sanctioned, some activities sanctioned by you according to the laws of nature, according to Vedic literature, according to the divine instruction of the Lord. You follow it. Neither you get a good counterpart of it, neither you get a bad counterpart part of it. And therefore what happens, it's like, you have seen cassette, old time cassette. We used to have these tape recorders. In one side the reel is moving in this direction, the other side it is getting rewound, one side is getting wound. So therefore akarma is like getting rewound, and karma or vikarma is getting like, creating a new cycle. And therefore activity might be same, but by doing akarma one can get a best reward. What is that? He can get the body, which is, he can get liberated from the cycle of birth and death, and he can unite with his supreme father in the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha Loka, to enjoy life eternally there. So that yoga which re-establishes our soul's love and service for Krishna is called as Bhakti Yoga. So karma yoga means what you like you do according to sanction of the Vedic literature. Jnana means once you understand karma, you are beyond karma, then you try to meditate, speculate on it. And what is dhyana? Once you speculate, when you come to know there is someone beyond this, so Atma, this Paramatma, you try to meditate on him. That's called Dhyana Yoga. And then when you come to know Dhyana Yoga, Yogina Vavi Sarvesham, Madgatin Antaratmanam, Shaddavan Bhajate Yomam, Tamayukta Tamamata. This Paramatma is not only Paramatma, beyond him there is Bhagavan feature. When you understand that topic of Bhagavan, then you become Bhakta. So by practicing Bhakti Yoga, one can re-evoke, re-establish our relationship with God. For example, here there is a simple thing called as stick nobles. Once there was a owner of a building, a bungalow, which was on the junction of a traffic place. And this owner was very fed up because all the advertising industry people used to come and stick so many advertisement on this wall of this owner of the bungalow. And every time what used to happen is that when people used to come and stand there, he used to get very irritated and shout at them. So every time this used to happen, जब भी होता था, तो जो ये मालिक था कि वो चिल्लाता था, जो भी वहां से चलता था, कोई भी वहां पे रुकता था, कोई भी वहां पे बैठ के गप्पा मारता था, तो सबके ऊपर इतना चिल्लाता था, इतना चिल्लाता था, तो लोग पक जाते थे. तो दो छात्र थे एक स्कूल के, two students from a school, they approached and were standing there. And one boy challenged, my dear friend, if you have guts in you, I'll give you a party in the particular hotel of pizza party. If you can stick something here on this wall, if you are successful and you are able to escape the owner, then I'll give a party on this coming Sunday. And if you are not able to do that, then you should give me party. So then the friend told, yes, deal done. The first friend told to the second friend agreed. He brought a ladder, he brought a paper, he brought a glue, he took a marker, he wrote on it something and pasted on it. When this second friend was doing this, the first friend thought, oh, this person, my dear friend, is really very, very fired up, very courageous, and he's really going to do it. He's going to stick this, and he's going to defeat me, and he's going to empty my pocket in coming Sunday. And immediately he went inside the bungalow, put a ring on he started ringing the bell and called the owner and told, मालिक जी देखिए ये आपके बंगलो के दीवार पे कुछ चिपका रहा है, आप इतना चिल्लाते सबके ऊपर, लेकिन ये लड़का आके आपका ही सीढ़ी लेके वहां पे लगा के इसके ऊपर कुछ चिपकाने का कोशिश कर रहा है. दिस पर्सन इज ब्रिंगिंग योर ओन लैडर एंड ट्राइंग टू स्टिक समथिंग ऑन दिस वॉल. And the owner became so furious, so angry, and he started running from his living room with a stick in his hand. And he thought, I'm going to give a nice beating to this boy. And when he came outside and when he saw the ladder which was kept next to his wall, and this boy was sticking the bill, and this advertisement was stuck on it. And as soon as he saw the whole paper, immediately his anger, his temper came down, became neutral, and he started having a very nice smile. And the boy from the top was so confident, my lord. He started smiling at the owner, and owner told, "Beta, niche aao, niche utar jao." And this boy got down so confidently, and the owner took his hand and told, "Beta, aa jao, आज मैं आपको कुछ खिलाता हूँ, कुछ पार्टी देता हूँ." And the owner took the boy inside his living room. He called his wife, he's called his daughter-in-law and told, this boy has done. Please, this boy has come here now. Make something wonderful. Make some paneer sabji and puri and butter halwa and all those things. And then after 1 hour, he was fed sumptuously, and then he was sent from there. Meanwhile, this friend was thinking, I was thinking this owner is going to come and scold him and thoroughly beat him, and then I'll be victorious and he'll have to give me party. But what happened? I have to anyway give him party, but the owner is also giving party. Then he saw at that notice, and then this second friend was very smart. He had written on it, "Stick no bills," and undersigned the owner. That means this is a thing what he had written. So this act of pasting, this advertisement is also act of pasting the advertisement. But this made the owner was so angry. From anger, the temper of the owner was so angry, he brought it not only to neutrality but made him so favorable that his owner took him back to his home and gave him all whatever he could in his hand he could do to help this boy. So similarly, bhakti yoga is like that. So akarma, in the whole of Bhagavad Gita, if you read, 700 verses are there and 600 commentaries of Bhagavad Gita are there in the market. But this single point, most of the scholars miss it. What is that? Bhagavad Gita, when you speak about, Bhagavan ka Gita hai. Bhagavan, Lord Shri Krishna is singing this song of Gita. And when song is there, the singer is there. And singer is there, he has a form, he has his fame, he has his name, he has his beauty, he has his intelligence, he has his wealth, he has tremendous strength, and he's controller of even time. So Jiva, Ishwara is the controller of Jiva, Kala, Karma, and Prakriti. And if Ishwara becomes pleased with us, he is can become very favorable, and all the karma which is temporary, because all four principles are permanent except karma, he can immediately extinguish it. So therefore, from this simple understanding, you can understand that how bhakti yoga can help us establish our genuine loving relationship with Supreme Father in the spiritual realm. So bhakti is like that. And therefore, Krishna is telling to Arjuna at different places in Bhagavad Gita, he is telling, Yogi Navavi Sarvesham Madgati Nantaratmana Shaddavan Bhajite Yomam Tami Uktam Tamamata. Every chapter, every page of Bhagavad Gita, if you read at different sections, you'll keep a time and again, you'll come back. The author, the singer of this Bhagavad Gita will keep on telling to his audience, Arjuna, and through the medium of Arjuna to all of us, how we should become like the second friend, align with the owner of the bungalow. And the universe is like a bungalow, and the owner of that bungalow, Lord Shri Krishna. And if we align with him, he doesn't only he not only eliminates the bad karma, not only eliminates and gives the result of the good karma, but completely takes us to the realm called as akarma through bhakti yoga. He takes us to inside his house, that is the spiritual realm. This represented by Vrindavan, Mathura, Sakedam, Ayodhya, and Vaikuntha Loka. And therefore is giving this order, become a yogi. But most of the time when people tell yogi, people do yoga for what? What is the understanding of yoga? Many times when you think of yoga, the famous personality BK Sanger come to our knowledge. He is a glorious personality who has done lot in Patanjali. He was in Pune himself, and somehow I got to meet him and see him. And he has given many things which are very important, like Yama, Niyama, do's and don'ts, which are very, very helpful for Ishvara Pranidhani, surrendering to the Lord. And therefore, when you see him, he's BK Sanger in the top photo. And down, if you see a person is lying here, so is yoga simply a exercise of a body? Is it some asana? Is it meditation? Asana is there. There's something called as yama, niyama, pratyahara, dharana, asana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So it ends with samadhi. These are the 8 steps of the Ashtanga Yoga. But what it is for? Yama is for eliminating us, bringing us from the gross bodily platform to subtle body, mind. Then once you come from yama, niyama, dharana, then pratyahara, it's like coming and focusing from mind on the soul. And then samadhi means focusing the soul on the super soul, on the Bhagavan. And if you can do that for time of 12 seconds, that is called as dharana. If you can do it for 12 into 12, 144 seconds, it's called as dharana dhyana. Dhyan, 12 into 12. 12 seconds is dharana, 12 into 12, 144 seconds is called as dhyana, and 12 into 12 into 12, that is 25 minutes, 24 seconds is called as samadhi. And therefore, this is what? And samadhi on whom? Samadhi on Supreme Lord, as Bhagavan, as Purushottam. That is the thing. Meditate on whom? Not on wide, but on Supreme. But most of the time, people think yoga means to connect with something. Yoga means to do something by which we can enjoy our life, day-to-day life. We can enjoy our interaction with the family members. We can get some appetite in our day-to-day activities of our intercourses with our husband and wife relationship. People think yoga as something which can give us good health. Surely, that is a byproduct of yoga. All these things are surely plus points of yoga. The Ashtanga yoga can give us. There is nothing to deny because this is mentioned Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, everybody will not be at the point of coming to the point of God. But what is the point is when we are going from Mumbai to Delhi, and we come on the way and become very hungry, and the favorite thali is you get to see a favorite thali on the railway junction. There's a nice branded, Rajasthani mitai wala shop, and you have a favorite rasgulla which you like, or son papdi which you like from that. But it is, you have to cross two platforms, get down, walk 2 minutes, again come back 2 minutes, and have a discussion, remove money from a pocket, आपके जेब से पैसा निकाल के 5 मिनट में डिस्कशन करके उसको पैसा दे के रसगुल्ला लाने तक ट्रेन पटरी छोड़ के निकल जाएगा. Similarly, all these bodily benefits are surely good benefits, but one should not get stuck up with these bodily benefits, because the goal of this train of life which you are boarded is to take us from this tamsoma jyotirgamaya, mrityoma amritam gamaya. And therefore, asanas will help us to maintain our body, maintain our mind stably in this lifestyle, in this day and age. But that itself is not all in all. Beyond that, there is a goal of soul also. Therefore, I'm not denying that asana, when we do it for bodily existence, bodily health, it is wrong. No, it's sure. It is plus point. It's a one. It's like zero. Zero means it has a value. Zero has a value in mathematics. And then it gives us peace of mind. That is also another zero. It has a value. But when you put one in front of these zeros, 1, 2, 3, the more zeros are there, makes sense when you put one. That one is Ishvara Pranidhani. That is what B.K. Saingal tells in his book Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And he was Ashtanga Yogi, but he could conclude, he could come to the point of, because he being a Sri Vaishnava, he could come to that point of Ishvara Pranidhani. As Jivatmas, as living souls, we have to surrender to that one Ishvara. And Ishvara means controller. We can control our room, we can control our husband, we can control our wife, we can control our kid for some time, not always. We can control some people in our community, but we cannot control all people for all time. If somebody can control all people for all time to the end of the eternity, he's called as Ishvara Parama. Therefore, Brahma Samhita, Brahma says in his Brahma Samhita, Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindam Sarvakarana Karanaha. When you speak about the Ishvara Pranidhani, that refers to all attractive personality who has 6 opulences in him full, and by surrendering to him, उनके शरण में जाने से हम सुख शांति सब कुछ प्राप्त कर सकते हैं. तो हमारा जो आसन या योग का जो विधि का जो अंत डेस्टिनेशन है, ईश्वर प्रणिधानी है. So yoga is not meant for, asanas are not meant for getting a shapely body. That is one of the byproduct of it. Surely I agree with it. And it is not for increasing a lifespan. Worth increasing a lifespan if you can inquire about God. But if you increase the lifespan and if you are simply utilizing it for the same needs which animals use it for, then we can again, the karma, that cassette, remember that analogy of the cassette, old cassette, one side it is getting wound, another side is getting unwound. So similarly, bhakti is like getting unwound. But when we try to do all this yoga without the Ishvara Pranidhani, without surrendering to Ram, Shri Krishna, Lord Vishnu, this becomes like, entangling more and more, because we get lot of health, lot of fame, lot of success, but what? We get entangled again. So it's not for mystic power. There are some people who can dip in Ganga and then they can go to Mandakini in the Swarga. They can go to Nagaloka, Patalaloka, because Ganga flows from the top Brahma Loka down to lower Patal Loka. And yogis who are there, who are having the siddhis, Ashtanga yogis who have perfected the mysticism, they can go from one planet to another planet. But they cannot go beyond this material world. So that section of material world I'm going to discuss tomorrow, hierarchy of material world, 14 planetary system, the time factor which I kept, I'll discuss it tomorrow. So it will make more sense. But before going to tomorrow's session, we'll discuss about today's session. So yoga is not meant for an exercise for shapely body, increase lifespan, mystic power. So what is the meaning of yoga? In Sanskrit, yoga means yuj, to join and connect. So join and connect with whom? The soul is given a facility, the Jivatma is given a facility to join and connect with God. So the soul is given a facility to join and connect with God. And that is the whole definition of yoga. So to connect with what? To connect the soul with God. So law avoiders, what are the four kinds of yoga? As I told, somebody who wants to practice yoga on the level of senses, karmendriyas, it's called karma yoga. So what he should do? He should do this karma yoga for whose pleasure? For Krishna's pleasure. Like if somebody is a businessman, you work. What is the end result of a business? You get some money. You offer some part of that money for the service of Lord Shri Krishna, for distributing prasad, which is offered to Lord Krishna, to those people who are not knowing this knowledge. You can share that part of your money for spreading Krishna consciousness. Therefore, when I speak about businessman, the end result of a businessman is money. If somebody is a scholar, then that is coming to Jnana Yoga. He has his intelligence, then he can write articles, then he can utilize his intelligence in understanding Krishna and trying to write articles about this process for the benefit of others. And somebody is experienced in different yogic processes, he can utilize Ashtanga Yoga, he can utilize, for Jnana Yoga, what comes is mind, intelligence, and for Ashtanga Yoga comes mind, because mind, the dhyana. So dhyana, but subtle body. Basically, Karma Yoga is gross body, Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga is called for subtle body, mind, intelligence, and ego, using body to perform 8 angas. So what will happen? Slowly the soul comes from the bodily platform to the mind, to the intelligence, to the ego, and then he sees Atma, then he perceives Paramatma, and he understands Paramatma is beyond this world. Narayana para avaktat. He is not metal like me. That is the perfection of samadhi. Then he becomes yogina sarvesham, becomes a bhakti yoga. Therefore, after 6th chapter comes what? Ashtanga yoga comes bhakti yoga. And bhakti yoga is what? Soul. Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshami anusuya jnana vijnana sitam yajnatma mukshe shubhat. So what is the understanding? The person has to completely relinquish his ego and to really see the Lord free of his ego. Because when Lord says, when the topper of a class says, I'm the topper of the class, do we tell him you are so proud, you are telling that you are a topper of a class? Similarly, most of the people tell, पूरे भगवद गीता में भगवान श्री कृष्ण अपने बारे में इतना क्यों बोलते हैं? 7वें चैप्टर में मैं ऐसा हूँ, मैं वैसा हूँ. 8वें चैप्टर में देखो मेरा भक्ति करने से आप यहाँ पे आ सकते हो. 9वें चैप्टर में ये बहुत बड़ा सीक्रेट है, इसको सिर्फ मेरा भक्ति समझ सकता है. अपने बारे में इतना क्यों छाती ठोक के बोलते भगवान? It's like, somebody is Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, if he will not tell that I'm a Prime Minister of India, then it's like, what he will tell them? He is, therefore he's telling. Similarly, Lord Shri Krishna is God, Lord Shri Ram is God, Lord Vishnu is Supreme Person of Godhead. Therefore they are telling. Therefore Lord Vishnu is Purushottama, Purusha Uttama. Ut matlab rising, Tama matlab darkness, Uttama matlab who is above the darkness of this material world, and Purusha matlab the Purusha who is beyond the darkness of this material world is called Purushottama. And who is Lord Ram? Lord Ram is Maryada Purushottama. He had taken when he came to this pastimes in this earthly planet, he had taken a vow of Ekapatni Vrata, therefore his Maryada was there, and he had his own Maryada, therefore he never crossed it, but his Maryada Purushottama. But if you want to see in the spiritual world the full blow of 6 appearances without any restrictions, without any Maryada, then that is like, Purana Purushottama, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So this is a different understanding. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna speaks about the Karma Yoga in the beginning, first 1 to 6 chapters. This is just a prelude for our upcoming series of Bhagavad Gita. You're going to go verse by verse, chapter per session. in one chapter, the main shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, and all the shlokas, what is the relation between them, first shloka क्यों बोला था, लास्ट श्लोका क्यों बोला था, बीच में सब श्लोका कनेक्शन क्या है, ओवरव्यू. वी आर गोइंग टू सी इट like that in coming sessions for those who are interested, but we are going to continue these sessions week after week if somebody is interested. Therefore, first 6 chapters are going to speak about karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. The middle 6 chapters, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is going to speak on bhakti yoga. Then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 with Purushottam yoga, and with Kshetrajna, that knowledge of soul, super soul, and the enjoyer speaks about how we should detach ourselves from this, how we should do akarma, how we should unwound our karma from this material world, so that it speaks about that. And therefore, who can say which version of Microsoft Windows is the best? So similarly, who has Bill Gates will tell it, because he is a CEO, he is the person behind it. Similarly, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, he tells out of all the yogas, which yoga is the best. And he says in 6th chapter, 49th verse, he tells, Yoginam api sarvesham madgaten antaratmanah shaddavan bhajate yomam samayuktatamo mataha. And what is written there? And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all, and that is my opinion. And 6.47, this is he is uh, he is pointing out to bhakti yoga. This is a ashtanga yoga process, culmination of the ashtanga yoga. If somebody takes up yoga, he does not fulfill it, he completes 20%, what will happen to him? He is like, patabrashta. So what will happen to 20% completion? He will get birth in a rich family, he'll continue that yoga from that place where he doesn't have to worry about his money, about eating, about his responsibilities of life. If somebody is completely under 80%, what happens to him? He gets birth in a devotee's family, in bhakta's family, and he continues birth from there. And after that, he tells about this, that out of all these people, the person who is bhakta is very dear to me. And then that leads to 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga. And therefore, right now, if Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti is the topmost, and Bhagavan as Sri Krishna, as Lord Ram, as Lord Narsingha, as Dashawataras, they are the goal of our life, then why we are not able to strike any connection with them? Why we had to wait from childhood till now to come to this knowledge? Because we are souls in the human body, and human body, because of the material contamination, carries different contamination. For example, when the magnet is there, and on the magnet there is a lot of, when you remove magnet from the earth's core, and there are a lot of ores in it, till the time it is not separated from its earthly contamination, it will not attract ion filings. Similarly, ion filings can be attracted only when the magnet becomes completely purified. And here is a horseshoe magnet attracting iron. So similarly, when iron is mixed with some of the chemicals, or it's mixed with some of the ores, the magnet is having full strength, but the iron filing will not get attracted to it if it is mixed with some of the contamination. The contamination from the iron ore, manganese ore, has to be removed through metallurgy, and through metallurgic process, the pure iron, when it is casted and it is kept in front of the magnet immediately attracts. So similarly, in our subtle mind, that is man, buddhi, ahankar, it's a reservoir of thoughts, unfulfilled desires, previous experiences. It is discriminator, it is having a lot of ego, a false ego, that I am this, I am that. That is that the whole thing is stored, the contamination is stored in the form of I, pejal, illusion, pride, anger, greed, envy, lust. Lust is not very difficult to define. When we someone very attractive, we get attracted to them. Or when someone gets very nice things, we want that thing. That is also called as lust. It is gross lust, there's subtle lust. Why only he, why not I? उसको ही क्यों सब लोग प्रेम करते हैं, मुझको क्यों नहीं करते? So that envy means what? Like once a person went to a temple. He went to Himalayas and he started meditating in Himalayas. And then somehow he got darshan of Lord Hari. And once he got darshan of Lord, then God told him, so my dear devotee, what you want? Whatever I desire, I should get. And surely, Lord Hari will not give so material benefits so easily. So it is just a story. which just got into the picture, and he tells Tatastu, whatever you ask, you get it. And then the neighbor comes and sees, and this person starts getting a big bungalow. He was in a small 1 BHK flat. He gets a big bungalow in his apartment in the same place. Then he gets a BMW car. Then he gets a lot of servants. Then he gets a son. Then he gets everything. And immediately, when the two wives they come for the party, then wife asks, "What is? How is this? You are becoming so rich? My husband went to Himalayas and he went met God there and he asked a boon." Then the second wife comes to this her husband and tells, देखते हो, सुनते हो, देखिए कितना कुछ मिल रहा है उनको, आप क्या कर रहे हैं? एंड देन द सेकंड हस्बैंड टेल्स, क्या किया वो लोगों ने? हिमालय में जाके तपस्या किया, उसके बाद भगवान को उन्होंने पूछा, तो आप भी जाइए और पूछिए भगवान को, मुझे भी सब कुछ चाहिए, मैं देख नहीं पा रही हूँ। तो दिस देख नहीं पा रही हूँ इज कॉल्ड एज नेबर्स एनवी, ओनर्स प्राइड. So why I'm telling this concept, I'll try to tell the story, continue the story, but I'll just show the PPT so it makes sense to you. There has been a television ad called as Onida in childhood I used to see. That is called as, a person who brings Onida TV used to tell that, owner's pride, you do like this. And the neighbor is standing and he's trying to, make his face like this, envy. The pride is shown as something very good, dekho. But envy, pride and envy both are negative, because pride for whom? You are thinking I'm such a big person. What you are proud of? So I'll come to this factor of pride little later. Let me come to envy factor now. So second husband goes to the Himalayas and he also does tapasya and he also pleases God, and God tells, what do you want? The wife tells him before going, देखो आप जब जाके भगवान को पूछोगे ना, हम खुश हो पाएंगे या नहीं पाएंगे वो चलेगा, लेकिन जो दूसरा व्यक्ति है, जो अपने पड़ोसी है, वो दुखी पक्का होना चाहिए. उनका सुख मैं देख नहीं पा रही हूँ, तो उनको दुखी बनाना है. तो अब जब भगवान आएंगे उनको पूछना, जो भी उनको दे रहे हो उससे डबल मुझको देना. Then the first person, when he had gone, he had asked, whatever you give to the second neighbor, you should give double of that. That is what I missed the story. So the second the person, he was very wealthy. He was getting all the benedictions in his life. So the first neighbor went and asked God, whatever is getting, you give me double of that. And this first wife told to the second wife, my husband went and asked, whatever you are getting, we should get double of that. The second wife became very very envious. She came to the husband and told, देखो हमको जो भी मिल रहा है हमारे कर्म के हिसाब से, उन्होंने पूछा भगवान से कि उनका डबल उसको मिलने के लिए. आप जब भगवान को मिलने जाओगे, आप बोलना कि मेरा एक आंख फोड़ दो. So then he went, when Lord appeared, and he told, this person told, what you want? You can break my one eye, you can break my one hand, you can break my one leg, you break the half part of my building, you break the half part of my car. So immediately when what started happening, his bungalow got divided into half. It broke down to half. His car broke down to half. He lost his eye. He's lost his one hand. He lost his one leg. And same thing happened to the wife also. But both of them were very happy when they came back, because the neighbor lost everything. The whole bungalow got broken down. The whole car got broken down. That person lost his both eyes. The person lost his both hands. The person lost his both legs. Similarly, he lost everything. But this second donor who was there, he was so much envious that he was ready to cause harm to himself so that the other person can get much more harm than him. That is called as envy. You understood the definition of envy? We are ready to incur suffering in our life to cause much more suffering than us for somebody else. That is like, holding a hot coal inside our heart. And what is it is going to burn whom? Not the other person. It is going to burn us only. So that is called as envy. And pride, the neighbors and owner's pride and neighbor's envy. Envy is also anartha, useless. It's like an iron filing mixed with some ore, manganese ore. And even pride. Pride on whom? Proud of whom? People think we are independent. A person cannot control disease. A person cannot control his motion. A person cannot control a small COVID-19 virus. The human being cannot control any of the birth, old age, disease, and finally when death comes, the death strips him naked of all his property, of all his relatives, of everything, and he thinks he's independent. So what this pride is of? Therefore, pride is also keeps us under the thing that we are very, very happy. we are. So I'm not telling this from the material point of view. When you work in business, when you work as a professional, you will have to display all these things to show your confidence. But inside our heart, inside our soul, inside our family dealings, inside our one-to-one dealings in our life, we should understand this is not worth it. But when you're staying in the world, as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, the Guru of Prabhupada, told, this material world is not a fit place for gentleman. Therefore, people who are in this world, especially at this age of Kali Yuga, surely we cannot deal with them with all the good qualities. We'll have to nurture all these things, but only for showing. Like once Narad Muni came, and one snake came to Narad Muni, and Narad Muni told, "Hey, snake, already because of a bad karma, you got this snake's bite and you got so much of poison, so you should never bite anyone." And the snake told, "Yes, yes, Narad Muni, I'll not bite anyone." So what happened was, after that time when the snake was not biting, whenever children used to come, whenever they used to play cricket and the ball used to come, and some people, elders used to come to cut trees, the snake used to be there and it stopped biting them. So what they should take? They should take big rod and start hitting it, hitting it, hitting it. So again, after some time, it started calling, Narad Muni, please come. You have given this instruction, I should not bite. But everybody is taking disadvantage of it and they're trying to beat me like anything. So Narad Muni told, I told you should not bite, but I have not told you cannot hiss. When people come to you, when small children come to you, when elders come to you, you can always show the fun and show hiss. You may not bite them, but you can hiss at them. Similarly, these qualities at our core of our heart, we may not nurture them, but while playing a professional chapter of our life, we'll have to nurture them. Like it's like hissing, it's not like biting. So that is what. So illusion, pride, anger, greed, envy, lust, they are deposited in our subtle body, in our man, buddhi, ahankar. And because of this, we are not getting attracted to the Supreme Lord, who is all attractive. Because Lord attractive, his name in Sanskrit becomes Krishna, and his name in Greek becomes Krishna. That is the answer for it. Bhakti Yoga is there. So immediately Bhakti Yoga removes the anarthas. So by practicing Bhakti Yoga, these anarthas, we become free of illusion, pride, anger, greed, envy, and lust. And therefore, it's like Bhakti Yoga is like when a sculpture is there, when a child went to a sculpture's shop, and the child saw the big stone, and he saw the big stone and told, "This is simply a damn stone. Nothing is there in this." And after 1 month, the child came, because the shop of the sculpture shop was next to the school. And after 1 month, the child saw out of the stone a very nice, wonderful personality being made. The child started asking a question to his mother: "Was this man sitting inside the stone? I didn't knew that this man was inside the stone." Then the mother told him, "Beta, the man was not sitting inside the stone, but this man was inside the blueprint of the sculpture. Therefore, this innate ability of this man was inside the subtle system of this sculpture, and he carved him. He brought it out from the stone." Similarly, Srila Prabhupada told to one of his disciples who was very upset because of some difficulties in his life, because of some ill time in his life, bad luck. So he told, "My dear disciple, our life is like a wood, hard wood. And if out of this hard wood of life, if we can carve God, our Krishna, our Sri Ram, our Lord Vishnu out of it, our life is success." So similarly, we have got this human form of life. This universe is a university. If through the wisdom literature of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, if we can come and understand who we are servants of Lord Krishna. We are and Krishna is a master, and our relationship with him is that of bhakti. And how to do bhakti? There is ninefold process of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Mahatma Nivedanam. Prahlad Maharaj told it to Hiranyakashipu, his father, but his father became very angry. So this mother told the son, this man was inside the stone, but this innate ability to bring this man out of the stone was inside that sculpture. Similarly, we have to carve Krishna out of the hardwood of our life, and by removing the excess marble of my chisel, then we can carve out of it. And what is the excess chisel? What is the excess marble? That is anartha of lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. We have to cut it off from our life, and we have to get connected to the process of bhakti. And by that, what will happen? Like there is fire inside the fire road. So similarly, moment you just put fire, it catches fire. Similarly, as soon as we come across the session of devotees, you might be searching for this knowledge, you might be hankering for this knowledge, but as soon as you came in touch with Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and his presentations based on that Bhagavad Gita, so immediately you can really make sense out of it. You can really understand that, at least when in 2003, 2004, when I was in my first year of engineering, and when I got the Bhagavad Gita, although my mother used to tell me from 7th standard, 8th standard, chant Hare Krishna, but I never did it. But when I came across devotees and then systematically took this session, which I'm taking right now, this one taken by my seniors, and when they took it, I thought, my Lord, such philosophy, such knowledge, such logic, such reasoning. It's not just blind following, it's reasonable following. When I understood it, by bhakti, I can sculpt, I can carve my life, and I can really carve God out of my life. It was like this much freedom that God has given to us. It's not that you have to just suffer our karma, but we can revive our relation with God. This is like a big boon to any person, mortal being, who's taken birth on this Bhumandala. Similarly, do you think anything you do, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, or any sort of spirituality or transcendentalism, mysticism, what is being advertised on YouTube right now? YouTube is so famous now. Right now, internet is so famous now. Different people speak of different things, and everybody, most of the time, people say yato mat, yato pat, tato mat, or yato mat, tato pat. सब कर सकते हैं बेटा, माता पिता का ख्याल रख सकते हैं, कर्म कर सकते हैं, पत्नी का ठीक ठाक रख सकते हैं, ज्ञान करो, ये देवी देवता के पास जाओ, ये मंदिर में जाओ, ये घंटी बजाओ, वहां पे जाओ, यज्ञ करो, कुछ भी करो, अल्टीमेटली कुछ करो या ना करो, सब एक साथ जाने वाले हैं। कहाँ पे? ऊपर जाने वाले। ऐसा नहीं है। अगर आपको मुंबई से दिल्ली जाना है तो दिल्ली का टिकट IRCTC के ऐप में जाके बुक करना पड़ेगा। अगर आपको मुंबई से यूएस जाना है, then you have to go in the flight, and you have to go on the side of the flight and put a particular destination. And therefore Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, yanti deva vrata devan pitrani yanti pitravata bhutani yanti bhuteja yad yajinopi mam. Who those who accept a particular path, their destination changes. Example of Kolkata ticket will fetch you, will put you in Kolkata station, Howrah Junction. A Delhi ticket will fetch you in Nizamuddin Junction. Similarly, Chennai train will put you in Madras Junction. So similarly, human form of life is like a junction. From there, you can choose whether you want to go up, whether you want to go down, whether you want to go to Swarga, whether you want to go to Patala, whether you want to go to Dhyana Loka or Brahma Loka, or go to Naga Loka or any of the lokas. But all other paths is like a staircase. It's not that they're wrong. Nothing is wrong. Everything is good, but they're incomplete. For example, you have a laptop which is having low GB RAM. You have a smartphone which is very slow, and you want to perform activity of some project in it, and the speed is very, very less. And there is another smartphone or laptop whose speed is very, very fast. Which one you will prefer? Surely that laptop which is having a lot of RAM, or that smartphone which is having a lot of speed, because in that less time you can achieve a lot. So similarly, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga takes one life after another life after another life. बहुत सारे भी जन्म लग जाते हैं उसको, क्योंकि कर्म आपको इंद्रिया को आप शुद्धिकरण करना है, उसके बाद मन को शुद्धिकरण करना है, उसके बाद ज्ञान बुद्धि को शुद्ध करना है, उसके बाद अहंकार को शुद्ध करना है, उसके बाद आके आप आत्मा पे आएंगे। तो इतना खुद से करके वो वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए बहुनाम जन्मनाम अंते, लॉर्ड श्री कृष्णा सेज इन भगवद गीता 7th chapter, बहुनाम जन्मनाम अंते ज्ञानवाम माम प्रपद्यते वासुदेव सर्वमिति सम आत्मासु दुर्लभः. That means it takes a lot of time. So what is the secret? Therefore Krishna is telling, my dear Arjuna, आप तो मेरे भक्त हो, इतना क्यों इस भूल भुलैया में फंसना है, कर्म में, ज्ञान में, ध्यान में, अष्टांग में घूमते 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 हजारों हजारों जन्म करते करते क्यों आप इतना स्टेप बाय स्टेप आना चाहते हो? मैं आपको एक सिंपल प्रोसेस देता हूँ, आपको एक लिफ्ट देता हूँ। सीढ़ी चढ़ के क्यों आना है 100वें माले पे? Why you want to climb by steps and come to the 100th floor? There is a lift which can take you in 5 seconds or 10 seconds from 0th floor to 100th floor. What is that? So all other processes can be compared to the staircase. Surely staircase will also take us to the same destination, but not in this life. It will take some more life. as told by the author of Gita himself, Bhunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavan Mam Prabhadate. But we want to really, we are having a eagerness in this life itself. We want to perfect our life and we want to really make it. For them, there is a process. Bhakti yoga, it's like a lift. Get into it, start practicing it, and within this lifetime we can see Krishna face to face, as you are seeing me and I'm able to see your icons on this Zoom. Similarly, we will be able to see Lord, we'll be able to see Lord Ram, we'll be able to see Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha Loka in this own lifetime. So why Arjuna was chosen for hearing message of Bhagavata? So does Bhakti Yoga, one has to give up everything, one has to go to Himalayas, one has to become a monk, one has to give up all his belongings, and one has to that stuff? No. Arjuna was a family man. He was a commander-in-chief of Yudhishthira's army. Anyone, irrespective of the time to circumstances, anyone can practice it. And therefore, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna specifically. People will not raise the litigation or allegations that, Arjuna was a monk and Krishna was like, God. Therefore, the monk, God spoke to the monk, and therefore it's only relevant to the monks, not to any person who is a family man. So can I practice Bhakti Yoga in my family life? Yes. How to do it? You may tell, I'm so busy getting up in the morning, cooking for my children, working, I'm a professional, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And yes, because we fall short of time, because everybody does same work. Bill Gates does the same amount of work, and beggar also has the same time. But for Bill Gates, 24 hours is enough, and for a beggar, 24 hours are not enough. Why? Because most of the time our work is without focus. Why we don't work without focus? Because of that lust, anger, pride, envy, illusion, because of that anarthas, because of the virus in the system. When virus is there in the smartphone keeps on hanging, and you've seen that thing stuff, it keeps on rotating, and you get frustrated, and sometimes you want to take the smartphone and hit on the floor. So you have to install an antivirus, you have to install something like that. Therefore, in our system of our mind, intelligence and ego, because gross body anyway is like dull, so the whole mechanism is of identification of the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. In that, because of this virus of lust, anger, pride, envy, illusion, this takes a lot of our time. We can't make proper decisions. We can't come to any conclusions. When somebody tells something, we become immediately angry. When we see someone enjoying, we become immediately lusty. We become envious of someone. We become proud of our achievements. And when success, we become, wow, dekho, humse badkar kaun. And when failure, we just dump ourselves like ostrich. So all this happens because of the 6 anarthas. And therefore, this worry, because arising from the 6 anarthas inside our subtle mind, intelligence, ego, makes us worry. We are always worried about what will happen, kya hoga, and we lament about what happened, or aisa nahi hona chahiye tha. And we forget, we worry about the past, we lament about the past, and we worry about the future. It's like past is like one wing of the bird, and the future is like another wing of the bird, and the present is my neck, and this bird takes this, wings takes us, it takes us from where we are present tense, it takes us flying, it takes us to dream world. अरे ऐसा नहीं होना था, अरे ऐसा होगा तो कैसा होगा. So we worry so much about future, and therefore we have to be in present, because present is a present, it's a gift of God for us. We have to develop this mindfulness. And how we can develop this mindfulness? Yes, we need help of some asanas. We have to do some breathing exercises. We have to do pranayama to become mindful. But after that, what? After yama, niyama, ashtanga, and of all these things, what we should do? We should focus ourselves on God at Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, those people who tell that I'm so busy and have nothing, my advice to all of you is you have to see into your worry time. Because most of them students, we keep on studying, but then isne aisa bola, usne aisa bola, that student comes and sees, start disturbing you, and you start getting bogged up by the relationship problems, and you get hooked by some other serial in the TV, and there is no focus. You understood what I'm trying to tell? There are so many temptations, there are so many relationship issues, there are so many adversities in our life which takes us a lot of our time, and therefore the end productivity time is very, very less. You have 24 hours, we have 1770 minutes in our watch, everybody has the same minutes, but there is worry time, and there's waste time. We waste a lot of time and so much which is not needed. Like somebody calls you on phone and is about to come and meet you after a hour, and he simply calls and starts telling ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ, क्या खाया क्या नहीं खाया, उसके बाद कैसे भी आके मिलने वाला है. The end product of that is nothing is going to come, outcome is nothing, nothing best outcome is going to come. But because we are not finding that ultimate shelter, so we want to just hang over in that talks, we want to hang over in such discussions, and ultimately the time which could be done in a very productive way gets wasted. So there are, for a work time, there are two W. So work, W stands for work. The worry also stands for W. W stands for worry, and there is waste. And therefore, we waste our time in so many things which are simply not meant really for some good thing. All of us know how we waste our time in gossip, in discussing about somebody else's faults, in discussing about अरे वो पार्टी में गए थे देखो उन्होंने ऐसा किया वैसा किया, and it doesn't make any sense to us, neither to our husband, neither to our children, to none of our professional life, nowhere. And inside we become very insecure. So how to remove this worry and waste from work time? By introducing a worship time. The fourth W. Work, W stands for work. W, which brings this work time, which strings this work time, is worry about the past, a worry about the future, and lamentation of the past, and the waste time. But how to eliminate this waste and worry from our life? This can be eliminated by launching the fourth W called as worship time. So Arjuna did that, and therefore he was in so much of worry about his future, but still, Jayatu Pandu Putranam Yaksham Pakshe Janardana. So the one lesson which we learn from Bhagavad Gita is that not only Arjuna made Krishna the charioteer of his chariot, but Arjuna made Krishna the charioteer of his life. So similarly, if we can make Krishna the charioteer of our life, if we can hand Deen Bandhu Deena Nath, Meri Dori Tere Haath, if we give that choice, if give that free will of our life to Lord by practicing Bhakti Yoga, then we become glorious like the Pandavas. And therefore, we should never give any reason that kitna time karna hai. But if you don't utilize Bhakti Yoga process for Bhakti Yoga process not only gives us a goal in our life, but also enhances our productivity. That is the thing. It completely removes the worry time and waste time. So it's almost, oh my Lord, it's almost 8 o'clock now. Is spirituality retirement program? I'll end with this next 3 minutes. No. स्पिरिचुअलिटी को देख के क्या लोग बोलते हैं कि जब बूढ़ा हो जाओगे कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे, कुछ करने के लिए नहीं है, पत्नी बेटी रहती है, बच्चे है, बच्चे के पोते रहते हैं, पोते को पकड़ो, उनको खिलाओ, जब वो भी आपसे नाराज हो जाते हैं तो कुछ करने के लिए नहीं है, तो कोई आजू बाजू नहीं है, तो ठीक है जाओ मंदिर में जाओ, बैठो गप्पा मारो. People have this kind of conception, but that is not a conception, because what is old age? Old age is not growing white hairs. Old age is not about holding a stick in hand. Old age is not about losing teeth from our mouth. Old age is about as close to death. And definition of old age is proximity to death. And we can see nowadays, or in olden times also, there's something called as Akala Mrityu, and Akala Mrityu is prevalent in Kali Yuga like anything, and not only Kali Yuga, in all the yugas. What is Akala Mrityu? A father is seeing his son dying in front of him. A grandfather is seeing his grandson dying in front of him. So who is old? Grandson is old or grandfather is old? कौन बूढ़ा है? जो नाना या दादा बूढ़ा है कि वो पोता जो था वो बूढ़ा है? तो जो जो पहला मरता है वो बूढ़ा है. और कब मरेंगे? कभी भी मर सकते हैं, कभी भी मर सकते हैं. देखते हैं हम लोग, कोई एक्सीडेंट में मर रहा है, कोई यहाँ पे मर रहा है. देयरफॉर इस जगत को बोलते हैं दुक्काले मोह शाश्वतम, मृत्यु लोक का, मृत्यु का लोक है. तो कभी भी कोई भी मर सकता है. हर दिन मरते रहते हैं लोग, हर दिन जन्म लेते रहते हैं. देयरफॉर वी शुड नेवर वेट दैट ठीक है जिंदगी हम आपको एंजॉय करेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है. लाइफ इज नॉट फॉर मेंट फॉर एंजॉयमेंट. लाइफ इज नॉट मेंट फॉर enjoyment without Lord. Life is a preparation and death is an examination, and therefore you should make this the right choice at the right time. So should spirituality be given importance? Yes, it should be given importance, because why? It's a junction. Human form flag is junction. If you don't choose now, right pick now, and we may get any body in the next life. We may be promoted to anywhere up and down, and then we cannot make a choice, because only in the earth planet we can have freedom of our karma. We can create fresh karma in this earth. This is one new information for all of you. We, being born as citizens of this earth planet, we can create fresh karma. We can erase our fresh karma. We have been given a pencil with an eraser behind. But the people of the Swarga Loka and upper planets and people or the below Loka, they have pencil. They don't have any eraser. And sometimes the pencil is also limited. They just go by instinct. Like animals, They just go by instinct. So similarly, up and down, like if you're working in a company, you go on a tour, the day of going to tour, leave travel allowance is fixed, the return journey is fixed. But again, you have to come to company only to earn money. Similarly, you may go up, you may go down in the material world, but ultimately you have to come to Bhuloka, where we are right now. And therefore, everybody up and everybody down, they're eager to come to this university. This is spiritual IIT JEE chance, which we are all of us have got it without our knowledge, but you've done lot of pious credits in our past life that we have got it, and you have done lot of sukriti, bhakti sukriti, that we are, there are so many people on this earth planet, but out of them selected some few 10-15 people of us are trying to discuss this at this time. That means each of you is really a great soul, and therefore you're getting this chance to actually graduate from this university and get a big package, and therefore we should not miss it. So yes, we can get original Bhagavad Gita, we can get it online, we can get it on offline. That details will be shared by Vikram Prabhu. And then what next? Lord Krishna gave this knowledge to Lord Brahma, Madhvacharya. Then this knowledge given to Sri Lakshmi Ji through Ramanujacharya. Then this knowledge given to Lord Shiva, and he gave it to Vishnu Swami. And then he gave this knowledge to four Kumaras. This knowledge is passed to Nimbaragacharya. So this is university. This knowledge is coming from the creator of the universe to this his cabinet ministers. They give this knowledge to different acharyas, and ours is coming in Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya, and this is called as International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Antarashtriya Krishna Bhavanamrit Singh. Therefore, we are bona fide, coming in the bona fide Brahma Rishi Sampradaya, and we can get this knowledge from here. So what should I do now? This part I'll be taking tomorrow. So stay tuned for tomorrow's session, because I don't want to cross my limits. I know that, as a student, I have been sitting in the sessions, as student, I have been studying engineering, as student, I've been attending many seminars, many of the co-teachers, and I know when it becomes 1 minute more, the mind starts crying. So I don't want to cross my limits today. So we'll continue with the further session tomorrow. If you find this thing very interesting, and if one thing which I'll try to end with, we have got a pencil. This life from birth to death is like a book, and we have got a pencil, and we have got a pencil with the eraser, so we can erase the past bad scripts, and we can write fresh scripts. And that is meaning of, if we can carve Krishna out of the hardwood of this life, our life is perfect. So we have that choice. It's our life, we are responsible for our life. And then in next life we cannot tell, why do bad things happen to good people? Why? Because in our past life also we had got this pencil, and we had got this eraser, and because of some little less preparation we did it, and therefore we are here now. We are in the human body, and we are getting to understand it. We are able to resonate with this knowledge. Why? Because we are like the students who get entry. They go from first year, second year, third year, then they come to fourth year, then they do PhD, and then they pass out. Similarly, don't think that you are something less important, or this is like your beginning for the first time. If you are attending the sessions, I can tell you, this is not from this time, this is coming from past. And if you can make sense of it, and can immediately rectify that one thing which, because of which it remained less, it left in the half, or because of some circumstances we could not continue. So this is opportunity to start right now from here. And therefore what we can do is, we are responsible for the choices which we make, and therefore we cannot blame anyone. And if we can take, if we can give, I told Deen Bandhu Dinanath, Meri Dori Tere Haath, like Arjuna gave the reins of his life, the reins of his commandership in the hand of Lord Shri Krishna. We should give the rein of our life in the hand of Krishna. And Jayatu Pandu Putranam Yaksham Pakshe Janardana. Similarly, like Arjuna became glorious, we'll become glorious and successful. And what is glory and success? Success is not in uh, race run. Success is not in trophy won, but race run. So we may not get success in terms of accomplishments. The world may not identify us. The world may not tell, oh, you are glorious, you have made celebrity role, something like that. What is success? If we can lead this life with a life of character, with a life of dignity, with a life that people say, yes, this person is a really good person, and he is a law-abiding person. And if that can come in our life, character, to that you tell me what you are. uh, what you do when you're alone, that is called character. So when you are alone, when you are public, the type of lifestyle we have, that is called character. If you can maintain our character, if you can maintain our integrity, if you can maintain our honesty, and with donation, with the devotion to Lord, that is called competence. We have to be materially competent, and we should lead a life of character. And the third part is devotion. So till now you might be competent, surely all of you are competent in your own circles, in your own material circles, and surely because you're coming to these programs, you might be striving hard to be a man of character, to not be in front one and back one. Therefore you have stood the time of integrity, you're committed, and you're coming to this program. Surely that shows your commitment and integrity. Third part is devotion. If you can add devotion to our life, then we can really become victorious like Arjuna. Arjuna was competent, Arjuna was having character, but when he became a devotee, then he became glorious. And therefore, with this, I'll try to end our talk today. And if you have any questions, officially, I'm done. All of you who are having very, very pressing work, they can discontinue, no issues. And all those who are interested to ask some questions through chat or to physically, verbally, you can ask. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So no questions. So we shall meet tomorrow then at the same time, continuing this topic of practical application of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you for the lecture.
Okay, thank you, Jayan Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you all of you for joining. So I'll try to conclude. Hope this was beneficial, and please tune in for tomorrow's session. Hare Krishna, Neelamji, Hare Krishna, Divya Dalaji. Thank you for joining. And Raghavendra Kulkarni also has joined us. Thank you for it. Rashiji has joined us. Alok and Varsha, Pravijain, Naglakshmiji has joined us. Niranjan